Old-fashioned chemistry sets used to be filled with stuff that got kids hooked on science, with stinky gases and thrilling explosions. But today, many parents are worried about safety, and most toy makers don't want the liability. Adam Rogers finds out whether getting psyched about science requires a little risk.
High in the hills outside Albuquerque, New Mexico, at the end of a dirt road, you'll find the headquarters of a small business with the not very innocent-sounding name United Nuclear. Run by maverick scientist Bob Lazar and his wife Joy White, United Nuclear is like a mail-order candy store for amateur chemists. This is where you go to get the cool stuff: the aluminum powder, neodymium magnets, potassium metal. They're the kind of materials that blow up, which will put anyone selling them on the bad side of the Consumer Product Safety Commission. A couple of years ago, Bob and Joy woke up to the sound of armed federal agents banging on their door.
And I opened the blinds up in the window and saw what I thought was the entire United States Army outside.
And it was kind of crazy. I mean, I walked out and then the whole driveway was lined with these guys with guns and him in handcuffs.
It was just really something else.
Bob and Joy pled guilty to shipping hazardous materials across state lines and were fined $30,000. But that hasn't slowed down their business. The client list has grown to include thousands of teachers and amateur scientists.
We have university professors and teachers from chemistry classes in schools calling us saying, you know, I really want to get back onto some hands-on stuff, but we don't know what to do with it. Can you suggest any experiments, you know, set us up with something? Like potassium we sell is 5 grams, a small amount of it, and it's fairly expensive and difficult to get material other than us.
There was a time that you could get a lot of this risky stuff at the local toy store, in a kid's chemistry set.
Brand new chemistry, brand new packages. There's fun in Gilbert Chemistry for 1963.
But those days are long gone. At the Chemical Heritage Foundation in Philadelphia, an institute devoted to historical research, Rosie DeVernieri is the keeper of the world's largest chemistry set collection.
And these are the chem sets?
Yes, we have about 100 different science sets, including math kits.
And were they popular?
They were extremely popular.
This is
There
beautiful.
was a saying that in the late 1940s, early 1950s, that there was a chemistry set in every house where there was a child.
And this was a time when there was one set for boys and another one for girls.
You'll notice that it says lab technician, not chemistry set.
Well, you don't want them to actually get to be chemists. I mean, that would be getting out of hand.
Boy or girl, though, there's one memory that unites nearly every scientist over the age of 30.
So I remember one Christmas morning, we were living in New Jersey, and I opened this thing up, and there it was, and I was ecstatic.
I was absolutely thrilled because, and I'd always wanted to master the unknown.
I mean, I didn't really follow the directions. You'd take a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and you'd see what happened.
I decided I was going to make a bomb. And I did that by mixing the acid and the baking soda that they had with it inside a container, and suddenly the whole thing went, you know, and the top flew off, and the solutions went everywhere, and made a big mess, and I just thought it was absolutely wonderful.
But a lot of those old chemistry sets really did come with potentially dangerous substances: oxidizers, corrosives, poisons. The Chemical Heritage Foundation dug into their vaults for some of those vintage experiments. They were designed for children to do at home, but chemist Mark Michalovic said he would only perform the experiments in a controlled laboratory setting, wearing protective gear.
We're going to do a few things that are in this chemistry set that you probably wouldn't necessarily want kids doing at home inside.
Okay, well, I mean, you don't know me, but maybe I would, but okay.
Maybe you would. It's called Experiment 225, Preparing a Safe Explosive. And you'll appreciate the irony of that title in just a second.
What's in this?
It's called nitrogen triiodide. You just mix iodine and ammonia together. We have to back up a little bit of a way from this.
Oh, now I get nervous again. Yeah, all right.
And then what you have to do is you have to just give this a little gentle shock and
God.
Safe explosive.
Yeah.
You may want to take a look at the hole it blew right through the paper.
Oh,
can you see that all right?
You know, for kids.
Accidents will happen, and they sometimes did. Fearing liability, and perhaps reacting to a society that had begun to think of chemicals as synonymous with poisons, the toy industry began defanging these sets.
Well, I remember looking for a chemistry set for my daughter, and you couldn't find one. You could only find some boring things which essentially just let you use something that was already in the kitchen.
So, what's left in some of today's chemistry sets?
35 fun activities, but there are no chemicals.
Which seems like it should be kind of a warning.
Yes. So this set is nice because you can actually see the set before you buy it.
There's nothing in it.
And there's nothing in it.
Those old sets often featured inspirational pictures of the tweedy, dedicated scientist you might one day become. Today, those pictures have been replaced with cartoons of the chemist as a clown.
We're just going to start making fun of nerds right away.
But there may be more at stake here than the evolution of a kid's toy. Many scientists see a correlation between the demise of those old chemistry sets and waning interest in science among America's students.
So I think it's really important for people learning science, particularly younger people, to have an ingrained sense of taking risk, because the greatest scientific discoveries tend to be made by those people who are willing to take the intellectual risk to go beyond what is currently known.
Making it difficult for kids to get access to the necessary tools of intellectual inquiry and getting them excited about their ability to do great things, that's a huge step in the wrong direction.
Since the 1960s, the percentage of American college students majoring in chemistry has dropped by 2/3.
Shut it off. Shut your valve. Shut your valve. See how that backflowed into that? So you know you're...
In this climate, teachers have had to get creative. Michael Winters runs a highly regarded science program at a California high school, but to get it off the ground, he's had to run a gauntlet of naysayers.
People are afraid of chemistry. No, we don't want you to do that experiment anymore. No, we don't really want to take on that chance of liability there. So it's ironic because the types of injuries that we had are very minor. Yet in the 10 years I've been teaching at the school site, the number of accidents and injuries on a playing field is astronomical.
In this experiment, he's teaching students how to make biodiesel fuel from vegetable oil. But to even do that, he's had to deal with several government agencies.
Ordering specific chemicals for the process that we do definitely red flags our program.
If you try to get access to many of the chemicals that were in the chemistry kit that I got when I was a child, you would be very hard-pressed to get them today.
So if you wanted to return to those days when kids could whip up a little chlorine gas in the kitchen or look for radioactivity in the den, you could go online and find a company like United Nuclear.
And here's a piece of pure uranium metal, which is substantially radioactive.
If you're going to carry it around, I want it. So it's really heavy.
Yeah, it is. It's, after all, uranium.
Now I have uranium dust on my fingers, and I'm thinking, I'll just wipe this off of my pants. That'll be great for the airport detectors when I walk through.
Right.
Even Bob Lazar got alarmed when he took a closer look at my hand.
Is that really uranium all over your
Yeah.
hand? Okay, you do need to get that off.
See?
Wait, I have decontamination spray. I'll be right back.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I'll go get the decontamination spray. Be right back. You wait here. It'll be fine. I don't think I can explain to you how nervous it makes me to have seen you get nervous just now.
I didn't know you had that much on your hands.
Yeah, sure. I know it wasn't on purpose. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm fine. Okay, modern chemistry sets suck. Maybe that's because people scared of chemistry and scared of science have ripped the guts out of them. But I'm not scared of chemistry, and I got uranium on my hands. Clearly you need some kind of line between the explosions and the chemistry sets with no chemistry. What we're really looking for here is teachers with resources that they need to bring the thrill of discovery to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to get that. For Wired Science, I'm